Educated, determined, dependable. This is News 10 ABC in the morning.
Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday, and good morning, everyone. I'm News 10's Christina Arangio. Of course, not just any Wednesday. It is September 11th, the 12th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, and many of us are thinking about that awful day today.
Yeah, most of us are talking on social media this morning, remembering where we were on that day. I'm sure it's very hard for a lot of you out there to forget. So if you can chime in and you want to chime in this morning, please go to our Facebook pages and let us know how you're remembering and how you're showing your patriotism today.
You know, my mom and dad always used to tell me they'll never forget where they were the day President Kennedy was shot.
Yes, I remember that too.
For us, it's 9/11. We'll never forget where we were. And just aside, I have so many weird little stories about it, and we won't get into them all right now, but coming in this morning, my speedometer, or my odometer, the last three numbers were 9/11.
Wow.
I mean, I just happened to glance down 9/11. You catch it for that one moment, but there it was. So it's just
hits you.
Gives you chills.
It's probably it did give me chills, you know, and just thinking about it gives me chills. And like I said, we're going to be talking about that throughout the next hour or so. So we'll get to more stories on that, and we'll have all the stories about locally, nationally, what's happening. But let's get you to what's happening outside Albany Shaker Road, exit 4, I-87, obviously looking good at this point. Our traffic maps will bring us up towards 7 eastbound, and things are looking good there. Take a look at our current temperatures right now. 75 in Albany, 74 in Troy, Duanesburg and Guilderland at 72. A few 60s sprinkled across our area. 68 Manchester, 64 in Pittsfield. But it is humid out there. Everybody's going to be hot today. Hazy, hot, and humid. Maybe an isolated heat of the day thunderstorm, 91. Muggy with a passing thunderstorm tonight, 71 degrees. We'll have more on the big changes coming in tomorrow and into the weekend as soon as I come back. Christina.
All right, Steve, thanks. Turning now to our Vote 2013 coverage. The votes have been cast in towns across the capital region and greater area of New York State. But right here in Albany, historic result out of the Democratic primaries in an already historic mayoral race. Corey Ellis conceding to Kathy Sheehan, making her the Democrat on the ticket in November to replace longtime Mayor Jerry Jennings. And now she hopes to become the first woman to run the city as mayor. Sheehan says if elected, she has a lot of work to do right out of the gate.
We've got to move our city hall into the 21st century. We've got to make sure that we've got a leadership team in place that really reflects our city and that is going to be working hard for our city.
Sheehan won more than 65% of the vote. She will face Republican candidate Jesse Calhoun in the November election. And in Saratoga County, they're still counting the ballots this morning in the Republican race for sheriff. However, Michael Zerlo appears to have already declared victory in the race over his opponent, Jeff Gildersleeve. That's despite only 88% of the precincts reporting at this point. At this point, though, Zerlo has won about 51% of the vote, and we will update you as soon as more information comes in on that.
And we will have much more on the primaries results, including those out of New York City. That's all coming up at 6:30. But for a full report right now, you can always head over to news10.com.
Well, as we mentioned, today is, of course, the 12th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks.
There will be moments of silence and services all around the nation and the capital region to mark the somber day today. And News 10's Nicole Lally is live for us in Troy this morning at a 9/11 memorial with more on some of the events planned for later this afternoon. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Stephanie. Well, a wreath-laying ceremony and memorial service will be held here at this memorial on 112th Street and 1st Avenue in Troy. This memorial, of course, dedicated 2 years ago. A small American flag right in front there, and all around this very serene, beautiful park this morning as a show of patriotism. A very nice morning to be out here. And here's a live look at the 9/11 memorial in New York City, one of the memorial pools that sits within the footprints of where the Twin Towers once stood. The names of the victims all inscribed in bronze there at that pool. A memorial service planned for there later today. Now, it was 12 years ago that nearly 3,000 people lost their lives when terrorists hijacked 4 planes, crashing 2 into the World Trade Center towers in New York City, 1 into the Pentagon, and a 4th plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania. The images of that day still very chilling to see. There aren't many people who you talk to who don't remember precisely where they were and what they were doing on that day. And that's why there are still events to mark the anniversary because we must never forget. And it's not just here in Troy that they are going to be marking the 12th anniversary of 9/11. Events planned all over the capital region, including in Albany, Saratoga Springs. We've got a complete list on our website. You can check that out if you are interested in going to one of them. Also, we've got information on my Facebook page on how you can become a part of this memorial here in Troy by purchasing a brick. All of that if you head over online. For now, we're live in Troy. I'm Nicole Alley for News 10 ABC.
All right, Nicole, thanks so much. This morning, the world is reacting to President Obama's speech last night, an effort to convince the American public that the U.S. needs to act against the regime in Syria. In his address, the president says that a diplomatic solution may be in the works with high-level meetings set for tomorrow in Geneva. Syria says it has agreed to turn over its chemical weapons to international authorities, but President Obama says he still wants the military option in case diplomacy breaks down. He says we've seen what chemical weapons can do, and it cannot be tolerated.
On that terrible night, the world saw in gruesome detail the terrible nature of chemical weapons and why the overwhelming majority of humanity has declared them off limits, a crime against humanity.
The president did say he has asked Congress to delay a vote over whether or not to strike Syria militarily, but he did not say how long he is willing to wait for the new diplomatic plan to work.
And Syrians living right here in the capital region also responding to the president's address last night. News 10's Trishna Begum watched it with them and has more on their reaction.
Presidential address to the nation, the crisis in Syria.
As President Obama made his address to the American people, he was talking directly to families like Wahid Alberts, who sat and listened to every word the president had to say.
The rebels will come into Damascus and attack the neighborhoods that are supporting the president, and that's my family.
The speech was a very important one for Wahid and his wife. They say many of their siblings, their moms and dads, and entire extended family still live in Damascus.
We tried to call them. We're waiting to hear their voice.
As the president painted a gruesome picture of how chemical weapons were used, he also blamed President Bashar al-Assad's regime for the attacks, something Albert's family wants to see more proof on before America commits to a military strike. And the idea of a military strike, even a limited one, worries Albert.
He can start it, but he cannot finish it.
The president's speech Tuesday night came on the heels of asking lawmakers in Congress to delay a vote on a military strike in Syria.
I think he really wants Congress to pass this, and right now he doesn't have the votes.
Albert believes that will buy the president time as the president considers Russia's proposal to have Syria put their chemical weapons under international control.
At the same time, he's going to have that diplomacy track.
As the family watched closely, they were hoping the president would speak more about solutions instead of making his case for a limited military strike on the same soil most of their family still resides. Trishna Begum, News 10, ABC.
Still ahead right here, months after devastating flash flooding tore through parts of upstate New York, Governor Cuomo was pushing a new plan to bring aid to people who still need help rebuilding. Coming up, we will have the details on the program New York Rising.
Well, the kids may be back to school, but it is feeling very hot out there. Of course, we're still technically in summer, and it feels like it today. 6:10. Here's Steve.
All right, Christina, thank you so very much. Take a look at this traffic shot that we have for you. It's going to be one heck of a sunrise out there. You can almost see, well, you can see all the haze out there, but look at the pink already starting out there. I think it's going to be a tremendous sunrise and probably sunset as well with all that haze out there. I think we're going to see a lot of color in the sky this morning and this evening. Right now, it looks like roads are damp. That may be all the humidity kind of just settling onto the ground and some of the leftover moisture from the showers and downpours and storms yesterday. But overall, things are smooth at the exit 2 interchange, Central Ave I-87. We head on further up north into the Northway, northern portions of our Northway, exit 9 to 12, moving along at 65 miles an hour. All right, we take a look and see what's happening at Kitchell Bay here. And again, you can see a nice sunrise there, a little bit of haze and low fog there, but that's going to burn off nicely as the sun comes up. Bus stop weather, expect to see hazy sunshine in the 70s, most locations with winds on the light side. Again, shorts and T-shirt probably going to do it for or the little ones out on the bus stop today. 75 in Albany currently. We've been there for the last couple of hours. 72 right now in Guilderland. Hunter, just about an hour ago, you were at 76, but you've dropped to 70. 71 in Glens Falls. Gloversville coming in with 68. Also Manchester, same number there. Pittsfield, Great Barrington into the mid-60s. Now, dew point temperatures, if you're familiar with me and what I always tell you, the higher the dew points, the more humid it is. When you get to 70 or above, it's oppressive, and that's where we stand now. 71 dew point in Albany, Glens Falls on into Burlington. Looks like that core of really humid air is going to sit over us all day long. Most of the shower and thunderstorm activity will stay to our north today, but in this heat of the day and air mass that we have sitting over us, you can't totally rule out a pop-up thunderstorm, but they should be few and far between. Look at these highs. Long Lake, Indian Lake, upper 80s, 91 Saratoga, Glens Falls, you should see a high of about 90. Down to the south, 92 for Kingston and Hudson, 89 Westerlo, Schoharie, you'll probably touch 90, as well as Schenectady, and Pittsfield, we threw you in there as well, hitting 90 degrees. All right, take a look and see what's happening today. Hazy, hot, and humid. Tomorrow, heavy showers, downpours, thunder possible, 81. Cooler, windy, less humid coming in for Friday with a leftover morning shower. Saturday and Sunday right now, only in the 60s, looking good. And probably you guys are wondering, what is the record for today? Because we're talking 91 degrees for a high.
Sure.
98. Set back in 1931. So it's going to be hot, but I don't think record territory.
Not that hot.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, we don't want any record.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Upstate New York and the capital region is still reeling after devastating storms and floods this year.
And now Governor Cuomo pushing a program that can help bring aid to those communities still in need of the help. It's called New York Rising, and it was first introduced back in July. The program allows local governments to design their own flood rebuilding projects, which are then submitted to the government in hopes of getting federal grants. There is $12 million up for grabs for areas hit the hardest. Governor Cuomo spoke about it at SUNY Cobleskill just yesterday.
Too many times people have said to me, oh, that was once in a lifetime. Don't worry. I've only been governor less than 3 years. I've already had 3 once-in-a-lifetime storms in 3 years. So I would plan for a future storm. If it doesn't happen, great, but plan for the worst. And we should be planning for the worst.
And there is no hard date on when the funds will be given out at this point, but the planning process expected to take somewhere between 8 months to a year. News 10 ABC in the morning will continue in just a moment.
And still ahead right here, Apple fans rejoice. The new iPhones have been unveiled, and this morning we are getting our first look at them. ABC's John Muller has today's Tech Bites coming up.
You're watching Christina Arangio, Steve Teeling, and Stephanie Grady. This is News 10 ABC in the morning.
6:17 right now. Welcome back, everyone. I'm News 10's Christina Arangio. Just days to go before the home opener for the University at Albany football team, and the stadium still does not have a name. Construction on the Great Dane Stadium is wrapping up this week, but the school has recently rejected bids to name the $18 million stadium. It can seat 8,500 people and even sports a new HD video scoreboard. But without a name, students we spoke with say, well, something is missing.
It's weird, you know, you should be able to tell people where the game is and not just say at your home school's field. Right. That doesn't flow as nice.
It'll be the first game we're going to, so yeah, I would like to have a name for the stadium. It would probably give me some more pride.
The school hopes a new promotion campaign will make the venue more attractive to new bidders.
$30,000. That's how much the Voorheesville School District says it lost in just a few months because of the National School Lunch Program's healthier lunches. So the school has opted out of the program, but not out of the original intent. Voorheesville Superintendent Dr. Teresa Snyder says before the district parted ways with the program, students were choosing not to buy lunch at all. Or worse, they still felt hungry after eating what was offered. Dr. Snyder says they will continue to place a heavy emphasis on monitoring the calorie counts, amount of salt being used in the food, and how much protein kids are consuming.
So I try to offer them a variety. You know, it's all about eating with your eyes. You know, if you eat with your eyes, food looks good, they're going to eat it.
Well, the USDA says the vast majority of schools here and across the nation are meeting its updated standards, leading to healthier lives for children. For more information on the program, just head to our website, news10.com. Well, it is time now for our word of the day. That word can be used to earn points on news10rewards.com. You can also play games for points and then win some prizes. Today's word of the day in memory of the 9/11 attacks. Remember. So now go to news10rewards.com, type in the word, and earn your points.
You know, one thing we all remember, aside from the awful tragedy and all the heroes, Steve, is just what the day was like. With that gorgeous blue sky, it was a comfortable day. We know today, 12 years later, a lot different than that.
A whole lot different. But yeah, it's funny. Sometimes... Actually, Christina, you and I were talking about this about a month ago, where the sky looked just like it did that day, 9/11. And I was even going to mention something about it. I decided not to. But when you see that blue, it just brings you back to that day. It was just such a... it looked like it was going to dawn into a gorgeous, wonderful late summer day. And we all know what happened, obviously. We'll be talking more about 9/11, our memories, our thoughts as we go on through the hour. So please stay with us. Let's take a look outside and see what we've got going on outdoors. Well, it's murky in some areas, heading on up to the far reaches of the Northway, exit 15, I-87, obviously. Yeah, some low clouds and fog that will eventually burn off to hazy conditions. Staying on the Northway, heading southbound, though, from exit 12 down to exit 9. Drive time there is about 7 minutes. North Adams, you're also looking murky with our morning webcam this morning. But again, the low clouds and fog will burn off to hazy sunshine for all of us today. We're starting off pretty warm here in the city, 75, 71 in Glens Falls and Schoharie, 60s, Bennington, North Adams on into Pittsfield. We're all going to be around 90 today, give or take a degree, depending on your location and your elevation, as I like to say. Dew point temperatures, that's another big part of this story. It is humid. It is muggy out there with dew points in the 70s pretty much up and down the Hudson River Valley, and 60s on off to our east. And look at Syracuse dew point, 72. That's almost as humid as it gets around these parts at this time of year. 8 o'clock this morning, we're heading out to the bus stop, 75, hazy sunshine, but very much on the humid side. We should stay generally dry today in this type air mass. There could be a pop-up shower thunderstorm in the heat of the day, but I think most of us will remain just hazy, hot, and humid. You can see the haze being picked up on our latest computer model here, our Futurecast 3 until later tonight. Could be a pop-up shower. Overnight tonight, maybe a passing thunderstorm. But tomorrow, when the front approaches, we're going to see showers, downpours, and thunderstorms. There could be a lot of heavy rain with this system headed our way. So without further ado, we're going to see a high of 91 today. Still humid tomorrow. Cooler temperature-wise, 81, but a lot of heavy rain possible. We'll keep an eye on that. Friday, windy, cooler, less humid, a morning shower, 65. And after this heat and humidity, we'll be rewarded with a great weekend in the 60s with tons of sunshine. Christina.
All right, well, that part sounds good. Thanks, Steve. It is time to get a look at what's new in technology at 6:22. Here's ABC's John Muller.
Apple's 2 new iPhones, top tech bites. The 5S will become the company's flagship smartphone, coming in black, space gray, and gold. ABC tech editor Joanna Stern got a first-hand look.
It looks a lot like the iPhone 5, but it has some new tricks, including a new flash, a much faster processor, and a new little trick in the home button. It actually has a fingerprint sensor, so you can just use your fingerprint to log in.
The iPhone 5S will retail for $200 with a 2-year contract. And for those on a budget, there is the iPhone 5C. The new $90 smartphone features a plastic exterior and comes in a rainbow of colors. It has the same features as the now discontinued iPhone 5. And Apple has a new operating system for those not ready to upgrade their phones. iOS 7 features a colorful new look, as well as both male and female voice options for Siri. It will be released on September 18th. Those are your Tech Bites. Make it a great day. I'm John Muller.
Coming up in this morning's Trending on Twitter.
My name's Candace. I'm your wife.
You're my wife?
Yeah.
Holy sh**.
Coming up, why this man is so surprised to learn that the pretty lady standing next to him at his hospital bed is really his wife. We're going to share his sweet story and the video that has gone viral coming up.
And a look ahead to what's coming up at 6:30 as well. So keep it here.
It is time now to head on over to Twitter to see what everyone is talking about on this Wednesday morning. Now, this is a love at first sight twice story, and it's making its rounds on social media. It is a really great story. Take a second to listen to this. A man just coming out of surgery turns to the woman next to him, who he thinks is just a beautiful stranger. Well, he is pleasantly surprised, however, when she tells him she's his wife. Take a listen to some of his hilarious and, of course, endearing reactions.
Doctor send you? Man, you are eye candy. How long have we been married?
A long time.
Oh my God, I hit the jackpot.
How wonderful is that? Well, Jason and his wife Candace have been married for 6 years, and I guess he's lucky he got to experience love at first sight again. We have posted the link to that video on our Facebook and Twitter pages. You can go to my page to check it out as well. Watch the whole thing. It's a couple of minutes long, but you definitely want to watch it, and please let us know what you think.
That is just the sweetest thing. Up next on News 10 ABC in the morning, ABC News' Timon Bradley has more now on what he's working on out of the nation's capital. Timon.
President Obama tells the nation a strike on Syria is necessary, even as he explores a diplomatic solution. I'm Timon Bradley in Washington with the details coming up.
All right, Timon, thanks. That and much more, including all of your local headlines coming up at 6:30. And take a look at this beautiful shot here, the 9/11 memorial at the site of what was Ground Zero. The memorial pool there, nearly 3,000 people lost their lives in the 9/11 attacks 12 years ago today. We'll have much more on the events planned today as we all remember. Back in a moment.
Dedicated, determined, dependable. This is News 10 ABC in the morning.
Right now on News 10 in the morning on 10 ABC, primary day across New York State is over, and we will share the outcome on some of the big races, including an historic one right here in the capital city.
Remembering 9/11, 12 years after the terrorist attacks, a number of ceremonies and memorial services planned throughout the country and right here in the capital region. I'll have a complete list coming up in a live report.
All right, Nicole, thanks. So many of us will pause today on this 12th anniversary of 9/11. Much more on this coming up. Good morning, everyone. I'm News 10's Christina Arangio.
Good morning to you. I'm Stephanie Grady. Meteorologist Steve Teeling here with us as well. And it's a muggy start to this Wednesday. Man, as things changed outside.
I'm telling you, and muggy's probably an understatement. It's just oppressive out there, and it'll be like that all day long. Take a look outside, and you can see a little bit of that haze and low clouds. It'll all burn off to just a hazy day today south of the Twin Bridges, at least traffic moving smoothly at this time. We are also looking at coming through the Twin Bridges southbound on the Northway. The drive time there is also about 8 minutes time. Our temperatures right now, we're looking at 75 here in Albany, 68 in Gloversville, 70 in Glens Falls. How about that? Now, bus stop weather today. Shorts and a t-shirt, if that's allowed by the school where your kids go to. That's all they're going to need. No rain gear. It's going to be very humid at 8 o'clock and remain humid all day long, 75. So your forecast then. The 3 H's today could be a pop-up heat of the day thunderstorm, but that would be the exception rather than the rule. Look at that high, 91. Tonight, muggy, maybe a passing thunderstorm, 71 the low. We'll have more on the changes coming in tomorrow and into the weekend as soon as we come back. Christina.
All right, Steve, we will check in with you soon. Turning now to our Vote 2013 coverage. The primary results are in, and we now know who will face off in the general elections come November. Michael Zerlo appears to have declared victory in the race over his opponent, Jeff Gildersleeve, in the Republican primary race for sheriff in Saratoga County. He posted on his Facebook page a thank you to voters, saying he's proud to be the nominee. This despite only about 88% of precincts there reporting. At this point, Zerlo has over 51% of the vote. We'll update you as more information comes in. And it was anything but close in the historic mayoral race out of Albany. Kathy Sheehan claims a sweeping victory over Corey Ellis in the capital city's first Democratic primary in over 20 years. News 10's Marty Casper was there when Kathy Sheehan, the city treasurer, announced her win, and he has more.
We are at Kathy Sheehan's victory party in downtown Albany, where she declared victory in the Democratic primary for the mayor of Albany. Now, she received a call from her challenger, Corey Ellis, who conceded and congratulated her on her win. Now, Sheehan has been the treasurer of Albany for several years, and she's known as a reformer. When she took the podium, she thanked her supporters, family, and friends for their hard work throughout the campaign. And while she considers today a big victory, she says there's a lot more work to do, but believes she can do it if she's elected in November.
I want to thank them and thank
you for electing me as our party's candidate to become not only the next mayor, but the first woman mayor of our historic city. We have a tremendous amount of work ahead of us, but after knocking on doors and speaking with our residents in every neighborhood of our city, I am encouraged by the great reserves of talent we have here in Albany.
Now Sheehan will face off against Republican candidate Jesse Calhoun this November, and the winner will replace longtime Albany Mayor Jerry Jennings next year. In Albany, I'm Marty Casper for News 10 ABC.
And for all the primary results in your local community, you can head to news10.com.
Well, of course, it was 12 years ago today that our country came under attack, the attacks of 9/11. And today there will be ceremonies and moments of silence to mark the somber anniversary. News 10's Nicole Lally live for us in Troy this morning, where a wreath-laying ceremony is scheduled for later today. And there's a way that people can still get involved in helping to remember this tragic day. Nicole.
That's right, Stephanie. I'll have more on that in just a minute. But first, that wreath-laying ceremony that you spoke about right here at the memorial in Troy. It was dedicated 2 years ago. It's at the corner of 112th Street and 1st Avenue in the Lansingburg neighborhood of Troy. And you can see a really nice memorial. There's even a piece of steel from the World Trade Center that sits outside here, and American flags surrounding it. Going to be a very nice afternoon to remember a very difficult day for so many people. It is hard to believe that it was 12 years ago that our world changed. The images from that day still very chilling to watch. Nearly 3,000 people died when terrorists hijacked 4 planes. The services may be toned down as the years pass, but the importance of the day certainly not lost. There's a moment of silence planned in front of City Hall in Albany this morning. Christian Brothers Academy also holding their annual remembrance services. And students will gather at the State Museum to read 9/11 essays. There are a number of other services as well. We have put a complete list of those services in the Capital Region on our website. You can check that out if you are interested in heading over to one of them. And as Stephanie mentioned, there's even still time for you to get involved. You can make your mark here in Troy. You can buy one of the bricks that leads up to this monument here. We have information on our website. You can either have them engraved with 2 or 4 lines, and they'll be installed here and forever a part of this memorial. Like I said, more information, head over to my Facebook page if you're interested in purchasing one of these bricks. We'll also have the man who's responsible for organizing this and for getting this and for keeping it going. We'll have him live coming up later on this morning over on Fox 23. For now, we're live in Troy. I'm Nicole Lally for News 10 ABC.
All right, Nicole, thanks so much. This morning, we wait for more information concerning a woman found dead inside a Schenectady welding shop. News 10 ABC has been on the scene since the calls first came in yesterday afternoon. And News 10 ABC's Megan Farley has an update now on the investigation.
Late Tuesday night, police were still securing the scene at Sweat and Sweat Welding Company here in Schenectady. Police did tell us that an autopsy is scheduled for Wednesday morning at 10:30, but as of right now, still a lot of unanswered questions. Miranda Van Buren is consoled Tuesday after police were called to the building where her boyfriend worked.
Terrified. I thought something happened to my boyfriend or his mother and father. So I grabbed my daughter as quick as I could and I ran down the street.
Police say they were called here to Sweat and Sweat Welding Shop just after 1:30 Tuesday. Workers had arrived back from their lunch break, police say, and discovered a woman dead on the shop floor. Police wouldn't elaborate, but off camera, many people shared a similar story with us.
A girl over there whose brother supposedly worked in there, that they came back from lunch and they found the girl in there dead.
As for the identity of the woman found inside, police aren't saying. All afternoon Tuesday, they canvassed the neighborhood, trying to talk to people and possibly get an idea from family as to if the woman knew anyone here or the extent of any possible mental illnesses. So again, an autopsy is scheduled to be performed on the woman who was found here. That's scheduled for this morning at 10:30, and that should provide some more answers. In Schenectady, Megan Farley for News 10 in the morning.
News 10 ABC in the morning continues in just a moment, and still ahead, we will continue our Vote 2013 coverage. But we will turn our eyes to the south, to the New York City area where a mayoral primary race wrapped up for a national audience, and we'll have the details on the primaries and all the results coming up.
6:40 on this Wednesday morning. Time to get a check of your traffic and weather on the 10s. Hot and humid. They are back for sure, and they're back with gusto, right, Steve?
With a vengeance,
Yeah.
shall we say. Yes, indeed. Gusto, or, you know, as they would...
Sorry, I didn't put the accent on it.
Gusto.
You're Irish.
Yeah, I am. And I'm terrible on accents, so we'll leave that one alone. So let's get you outside here. Twin Bridges south of there, you can see a little bit of some hazy conditions, maybe a little bit of ground fog in a few spots, but all the murkiness will burn off as we go through the next hour or two, leaving us with just hazy conditions. Our traffic maps, 87 southbound, coming from exit 8 through the Twin Bridges down to the interchange of 7. Speeds are 55 to 60 miles an hour. Now, we take a look at Lake George. This is Kitchell Bay, and just about 25 minutes ago, it was rather dreary out there. A lot of low clouds and fog, but it's burning on off, and it looks like it's going to be one of those midsummer days. Even though we're in September, that's what it's going to feel like. Currently, 75 degrees in Albany. We've been there pretty much all morning long the last couple of hours. Guilderland at 72. We're at 70 in Glens Falls. 68 Manchester, Vermont, 66 in Pittsfield, down the Hunter 70, and Schoharie right now at 71. You're heading out to the bus stop today, whether it's yourself or your kids, well, you're not going to need much in the way of clothing, and I say that nicely, if you will. Short T-shirts, if you can't handle that and you have to wear a suit and tie, well, loosen the tie, carry the suit coat on your shoulder, because it's going to be muggy out there. Mid-70s, on our way to pretty much 90 all locations today. Currently, we're at 70 degrees with a dew point temperature. You know how I always tell you, dew points in the 70s, oppressive. That's where we'll be all day long. Most of the activity should stay north of us with the front. A heat of the day, pop-up thunderstorm is possible, but not likely. Now, take a look at the high temperatures for today. Upper 80s, Long Lake into Indian Lake. Gloversville and Amsterdam at 90. Saratoga, you're going to see a high of 91 today. Looks like 91 for Albany. And just in case you're wondering, the record high for Albany today is 98. Set back in 1931, so I don't think we're going to threaten that record. Westerlo 89, Hudson 92, even Pittsfield, we're throwing you in there. I think you'll reach 90 today. Take a look at our 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, with the approach of a front, we are going to be seeing temperatures cooler, 81 degrees, but the potential for a lot of rain, heavy at times, thunder. We'll keep an eye on any potential flooding problems tomorrow. A leftover shower Friday, otherwise becoming partly sunny, windy, and cooler. Much cooler and less humid Friday, but right now the weekend is shaping up nicely. Saturday and Sunday, lots of sun, breezy Saturday in the 60s. Christina.
All right, Steve, thanks. And we will have much more news and weather coming your way, including another live report from News 10's Nicole Alley on the September 11th memorial events that will be happening across the capital region.
We'll also take a look at today's top stories this Wednesday morning. So stay with us. 6:43 right now.
Watching News 10 ABC in the morning.
Now a look at your top stories this Wednesday morning. President Obama giving it his best shot, trying to make his case to the American people about the crisis in Syria. The president says a diplomatic solution may be in the works, with high-level meetings scheduled for tomorrow in Geneva. But he says he still wants the military option just in case. ABC's Tamon Bradley has the latest.
From the East Room of the White House, President Obama told the nation the strike on Syria is on hold while he gives diplomacy a shot.
Over the last few days, we've seen some encouraging signs, in part because of the credible threat of U.S. military action.
Syria says it has agreed to a Russian plan to turn over its chemical weapons to international authorities. Sensing the proposal may be his best option, the president said he will continue talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, while Secretary of State John Kerry heads to Europe for high-level meetings. But if diplomacy fails, the president argued that a U.S. military strike is in the national interest and that the horrors committed by the Assad regime demand a response.
When, with modest effort and risk, we can stop children from being gassed to death and thereby make our own children safer over the long run, I believe we should act.
But in both the House and Senate, more members oppose a strike on Syria than support it. The same is true of the public. Nearly 2/3 of Americans are opposed.
My short answer to this is not no, but hell no.
The president tried to address critics who say a limited military strike won't make a difference.
Let me make something clear. The United States military doesn't do pinpricks. Even a limited strike will send a message to Assad that no other nation can deliver.
The president did not say how long he's willing to wait for this Russian plan to work, nor did he say what would make it credible in his mind. Timon Bradley, ABC News, Washington.
Turning back now to News 10 ABC's Vote 2013 coverage. Names can now be placed on the ballots for the general election coming up this November, now that the primary results are in across New York State. We have compiled a full list of all of your local primary election results by county. It's right on our website at news10.com, and you can check that out for the very latest. And just to our south, the mayoral race in the Big Apple, which has been in the national spotlight, of course, now has one Republican and one Democratic contender. Public advocate Bill de Blasio has won the spot on the Democratic ticket. De Blasio will face Republican Joe LaHoda in the race to replace outgoing Mayor Michael Bloomberg. William Thompson came in second, followed by Christine Quinn, and the man who garnered so much attention, of course, during the run-up to the election, Anthony Weiner, the former congressman, also only scraped up about 5% of the vote. Another politician with a controversial past wasn't able to get a win either. Former Governor Eliot Spitzer losing the Democratic contest for city controller against Scott Stringer, the Manhattan Borough president. And elections of a different sort out of Colorado. 2 state lawmakers were ousted last night in recall elections because of their support for gun control. Democratic state senators Angela Guerin and John Morse lost their seats late last night because they voted to limit ammunition rounds and expand background checks last year. The push to recall the senators began earlier this summer. Gun rights activists tried to force recall elections for 2 other representatives earlier this year, but those efforts failed.
Coming up on 6:50 on this Wednesday morning, get ready to feel summer again. I know we're still technically in summer, Steve, but we've been having a nice taste of fall over the past couple of weeks.
Well, we sure have, Stephanie, and it is going to feel like summer today. It already feels like that out there, and we're looking at 90 or better in a lot of locations. Let's get you outside, show you what's happening with our traffic maps. This is a nice shot, 787 around the Exit 9, Route 7 area. You can see that, yeah, some pink to the haze out there as the sun gets higher in the sky. Traffic looking pretty good at this time, although it looks like might be some cars stopped on part of 787. We're going to have to take a look at that and see if something happened. All right, over to our traffic maps. 87 southbound, looking good at speeds 50 to 55. All right, 87 south, everywhere you're going across our region. Yeah, it's humid out there. Heading out to the bus stop, 8 o'clock this morning, 75 degrees, mid-70s, hazy, and very muggy with winds on the light side. Currently, we're at 70 degrees in Glens Falls, but 75 in Albany, 68 Gloversville, and also Bennington coming in at 68. Currently, we're at near 80 in New York. How about near 80 in Syracuse and at 80 in Buffalo? Those are the current numbers, and it's not even 7 in the morning. You know it's going to be a hot one when you start off that warm. Our dew point temperatures in the oppressive range up and down the Hudson River Valley, a little bit less off to the east, but we're all going to see those high dew points today. Futurecast, hazy and humid, maybe a pop-up late afternoon or evening thunderstorm, few and far between. Tonight into tomorrow, maybe a passing thunderstorm. It's tomorrow where we're really going to see a front head our way, giving us showers, downpours, thunderstorms, the potential for very heavy rain in some of those downpours, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. 7-day forecast, heavy rain comes in tomorrow, still humid. It'll be cooler, windy, less humid on Friday, high 65. We go from 91 today to a high of 62 on Saturday, almost a 30-degree drop, but the weekend right now is looking A-okay.
All right, Steve, thanks so much. Well, when we return, we will check back in with News 10 ABC's Nicole Lally, who is live this morning at a memorial in Troy. Of course, we are marking the 12th anniversary since the terror attacks of 9/11.
We'll see you in just a minute. On this 12th anniversary of 9/11, there will, of course, be many ceremonies today marking that day, remembering the innocent victims, the heroes. And News 10's Nicole Lally has more now on some ceremonies that will be happening in Troy. Nicole.
That's right, Christina. There will be a wreath laying here at 2:30 this afternoon. This is the memorial for 9/11 that was dedicated 2 years ago on the 10th anniversary. It's at 112th Street and 1st Avenue in Troy. And this isn't the only place where people will be gathering. People will be all over the Capital Region at the State Museum, in front of Albany City Hall, and also Christian Brothers Academy all have events planned for later today. There are not a lot of people that forget where they were on that day. It was, you know, a day that changed the world for everybody today. And, you know, these ceremonies may be toned down a bit today, but nobody forgetting anything, and they're no less important.
All right, Nicole, and we've been talking all morning long during breaks and everything like that, where we were, and of course a lot of people chiming in on social media this morning as well, talking about the same thing, and I'm sure that we all have many, many stories that go along with this day of remembrance.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Nicole, what's your memory of that day?
I was working in Boston at the time. I was at a TV station. We were in our morning meeting, and we saw the second plane hit. And as you can imagine, it was pretty crazy to be in a newsroom and to be in Boston, where it all originated. It was a difficult day.
Absolutely. And I was a reporter at the ABC affiliate in Orlando, Florida. It was before I went into work, and I saw it on Good Morning America. Saw the second plane hit live on TV. We didn't know what was happening then. And the next thing I know, I'm on my way to work, and I'm reporting live from Disney World that they were shutting down Disney World, the happiest place on earth. It's a top terrorist target, and of course it was shut down because who knew what was going to happen.
And your husband was working for Disney at the time.
Yeah.
How about you, Steph?
I was actually still in school at the time, and my entire family, except for myself, was actually heading to Disney World. My father had a conference down there, but their plane actually got grounded in North Carolina. A lot of panic, a lot of pandemonium going on. Of course, you couldn't get in touch with a lot of people. I think a lot of people remember that. Cell phones not really working too well that day.
Yeah, I actually lived in Pittsburgh at the time, and everything was happening in the morning, and I went outside just to kind of clear my head and everything like that, and I'm not absolutely certain, but I'm almost very positive that I saw Flight 93 passing over out in the distance before it crashed just a few minutes later. So I just got shivers as I told that story. Just unbelievable. We'll all never forget where we were that
and especially here in this area, there are so many people who have loved ones who are down in New York City, or perhaps they went there. I mean, we have people from our area who helped, in the aftermath of what happened there. And of course, I have tons of family in New York City on Long Island. My parents still live there, couldn't reach anyone. Like everyone, we were all worried sick about, friends and family and those who are in that area. And I know being in Boston too, Nicole, Logan Airport was, such a focal point.
Yes, so many people from the area that had gotten on planes from Boston. So, it was a crazy time to cover it. And I know, Steve, you said earlier in the show, this is the day that we'll all remember. Remember our parents saying, I remember where I was when JFK was killed. Well, that certainly hits home. That is definitely, we'll be telling our kids where we were and reliving these stories over and over again for years, I'm sure.
That's right.
And we need to do that. We need to tell our children.
Pass it on.
Absolutely.
Keep the memory alive, for sure. Well, Nicole, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Good Morning America is up next. We hope you have a good day.
Have a good one.